Hey guys, and welcome to episode 110 of the Up Real Late podcast. My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Tim McGavick.
It's very crowded in here today.
It is.
A lot less elbow space than usual.
Yeah.
We added an extra person.
Adam.
Also joining us is Tyler Switolski.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, it's my first
one.
time being here.
Good to see you.
It's my first day.
Good to meet you.
I'm new.
We were doing so well.
I'm back.
And also Adam Franey.
Glad to
I
be back.
am usually here. It's nice to have a new member.
Moving on.
Hopefully you bring something new.
Well,
The last guy did not make it.
that pizza slice. We had like that pizza box here.
You guys replaced me with the pizza box?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are assholes.
Let's run down some of the topics we're going to discuss on this week's episode. As usual, we're going to discuss the last film we watched this week. And we got a bunch of trailers to talk about in our news section. We got Molly's Game. We got The Killing of a Sacred Deer. We got the Meyerowitz stories.
What?
The Florida Project. So we got a few trailers to talk about. If you do want to skip ahead to those topics I just mentioned, you can go in the description box below on YouTube. Click on the timestamps and you can skip ahead to those. As well, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like on it. Leave a comment below in the comment section if you want to join our discussion. And as always, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And with that out of the way, Tim,
Why don't you start us off, Tim?
what do you got
Scott,
for us?
I think you know what I watched.
I think I do.
And through that, I know what you watched.
1998, The Thin Red Line.
Whoa.
Written and directed by one Terrence Malick.
Terry.
His first film in 20 years. He did two before that. Badlands, Days of Heaven.
And
Took a 20-year gap. Came
I
back.
have
Bit of a
not
break.
seen
And
this.
then I'm not surprised.
Took a 20-year lunch.
Your mind's going to blow when I read you the cast list.
Go.
No, he's not ready.
You guys have 5 minutes? Because it's a big one.
Oh, it's long.
Starring
It's
James
longer, isn't it?
Caviezel, Sean Penn, Nick Nolte, Elias Koteas, Ben Chaplin, John Cusack, Adrian Brody, John C. Reilly, Woody Harrelson, Jared Leto, Miranda Otto, Kirk Acevedo, Nick Stahl, John Savage, John Travolta, George Clooney, Mark Boone Jr., and Thomas Jane. The last two I do not remember seeing in the movie at all. Mark Boone Jr. is like this big, like hulking dude, like he stands out. Do not remember.
You could
him.
easily pick him out in a crowd.
He could have been in the background of Sean.
And then Thomas Jane, I probably was background.
Yeah.
I have no memory of Thomas Jane.
He just had to be in the platoon somewhere, just in the background.
He was on a radio somewhere in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after going AWOL,
Okay.
Private Wit, James Caviezel, is picked up by his first sergeant, Sean Penn, as he and his company make their way towards Guadalcanal to support the ongoing siege to regain the island from Japanese occupation.
Interesting.
What'd you think, bud?
So, this movie
Yes.
was his first in 20 years, so a lot of actors approached him and wanted to do some roles.
The trivia behind this movie
Trivia
is
is
great.
insane.
It's great trivia.
Tim's favorite story
Billy
of
Bob
all
Thornton
time.
did narration for like a 5-hour cut of the movie. Completely cut out.
5 hours?
Yeah, 5-hour cut.
Jesus.
Completely cut out.
A 5-hour cut?
Yeah.
BPT.
This is my favorite Terrence Malick story. I told it last week, I think.
My favorite.
That's why I'm
Tim
watching
story.
it. Adrian Brody went to the premiere, or was at a premiere, and discovered then that he was not the star of the film like he thought he was. He has about 5 minutes screen time, maybe 2 lines of dialogue.
Pretty minimal.
But while filming, he had believed the story was about him. But Malick apparently was in the editing room with his editor, and they really
changed
liked
it.
James Caviezel's character, so they re-edited the movie to be about his
How
character.
much had they shot of him before he realized that he was...
The whole movie. He was
like
at
Tim
the premiere
said.
for the movie.
Oh, he thought he was...
Yes, he was at the premiere.
Yeah.
And like a film junket producer or film junket person was like, "Oh, Adrian, which soldier do you play?" And he's like, "I'm the lead." I'm the lead. They're like, "No, you're not."
So had he shot like a whole bunch of scenes, they just
Shot-
cut
well,
it?
like Tim
Tons,
said,
yeah.
there's a 5-hour cut.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And the movie's like, what,
3 hours.
3 hours? So they cut 2 hours out.
At least.
It could have been 2 hours of Adrian Brody, right?
Christ.
That was cut.
Apparently, George Clooney, I've watched an interview recently. He's a little bit bitter about it. I think he had a big role.
Still.
He's in literally like a minute, and half of his
Yeah.
half of his speech is like blocked out as like a narration comes over top of it. So you like You barely hear him in
But
two.
Adrian Brody and George Clooney's characters are in like the same kind of sequence, right?
No, George Clooney's at like the very end.
Okay, I thought they were around the same.
No, Adrian's like throughout the movie. He pops up like for like 30 seconds at a time here and there. John C. Reilly's in it for like 2 minutes. Has
Okay,
no
so you
dialogue.
have all these huge names, and they're all getting like
The small
multiple
amounts.
minutes of
Yeah,
airtime.
just-
Like,
People that weren't in it that are huge, like Mickey Rourke and Gary Oldman. I heard shot stuff.
Yeah, their
That
shots.
didn't make it?
Their stuff got cut completely.
Gary Oldman, get the fuck out of here. You're done.
You're done.
You're not in the movie, bud.
what?
Terrence Smellick, guy's a freak. Savage.
Aside from all the background story, which is amazing, this is a great movie.
Right?
The performances are great. From
The brief performance.
the four people that have the most time is James Caviezel, Sean Penn, Nick Nolte, and Elias Koteas, and Ben Chaplin, who played
How old is this movie?
1998, same
Okay.
year as Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Oh.
Later in the year, this was the December 25th release,
Interesting.
Christmas Day release.
It's a big one.
Like, doesn't have to be said. The movie's fucking gorgeous.
Flawless.
Like,
Naturally.
How was it on
amazingly-
Blue?
oh, it's gorgeous
Oh,
on Baby
Does
Blue.
it sing?
It's
I need to see
incredible. It's so well shot. His like floating camera technique works amazing in a war film because
I remember that.
there's a raid on like a village where like the camera's just like floating in as like Americans and Japanese soldiers getting like gunned down. There's like flames going off and explosions, and the camera's just like it's crazy.
I
The
remember
score from Hans
distinctly
Zimmer is amazing
the
as well.
Landscape shots.
What's the name?
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
But Hans Zimmer.
Thin
The
Red Line.
score by Hans
No,
Zimmer,
what was the name of it?
The Thin
Thin
Red
Red
Line.
The Thin Red Line.
There's a song in it called Journey to the Line.
Mm-hmm.
Might be my favorite Hans Zimmer score
Wow.
of all time.
Yeah?
It's amazing.
So good.
I gotta rewatch this. God damn it.
A bunch of his score got cut from the film as well.
What the shit?
Well, if it's scored around scenes, like
Yeah.
they scored the scenes,
Terrence
right?
is
Yeah.
a freak, man.
So a lot of scenes got cut.
But yeah, all like the mini performances that you get, like John Cusack's in it for 5-10 minutes, but he's great in it. Woody Harrelson, same thing, about 5-10
Right,
minutes,
right.
but he's great.
Jared Leto, briefly.
Jared Leto, very briefly. Yeah, just great performance, I thought. And the biggest thing that's different from your typical war movie, there's a lot of narration. It follows. I think there's the trivia says there's like 8 characters that narrate, and it's them narrating on their philosophical ideas on like life and morality, and is it just to be killing people during wartime, and what that's going to mean to them later in life, and are they okay with it, and they struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very deep, very good.
Interesting.
I liked it quite a
It's
bit.
one of my favorite
Yeah.
Terrence Malick films for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to have to hit it with a heavy 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was there anything about it that you didn't really
I th-
dig?
Unlike Dunkirk, which doesn't really have a main character and it works, I thought this could have used a more of a focus. It does, like James Caviezel does disappear for about 45 minutes. You don't
I
see him
remember
really.
that.
And he's like your go-to, he's like your de facto character. He's like, the story starts with him, ends with him, and then he just disappears in the middle for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You get like, John Cusack pops up for a little bit, and this person pops up. So I thought maybe a bigger focus on one character's journey through this would be cool. I think that's probably why. The story's a little bit meandering about,
Right.
the middle section's a little bit meandering, but you get some awesome war scenes in that middle section.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Crazy.
Well,
The colors.
The
Got it.
colors. Were
Them
there good colors?
though?
colors.
Don't play with me. Were there actually good colors?
Magic
Great
Hour.
I don't
colors.
remember.
Magic Hour.
Yeah?
Magic Hour.
A lot of colors?
Yeah.
I
Tyler,
already wrote it down.
what do you got for us this week, bud?
So I realize that my last scenes have been lacking in
Mhm.
the last little while. So,
Especially last 2, since you were not here.
They've been
okay, that's fair. That's all right. Well,
Literally physically lacking.
low blow.
yeah,
low
they've
blow,
been
but okay.
non-existent. One might say.
So I watched a movie.
Good. That's step 1.
Yeah, I did it. A little 2012 flick that I thought everyone thought was good.
Good start.
Turns out RT, first of all, does not think it was good. In fact, it is quite bad by their standards. But I will start with
critics.
I'll start with a synopsis. An art curator decides to seek revenge on his abusive boss by conning him into buying a fake Monet. But his plan requires the help of an eccentric and unpredictable Texas rodeo queen. I think Scott has figured it out.
American Hustle.
No.
No.
I have no
It is a remake.
I'm utterly lost.
It has some directors that I believe you guys know.
Plural.
Or no, sorry, some writers that you guys do. The
Okay.
Kuen
Oh, the Gambit.
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 Yeah,
They were supposed to direct this, and then they decided not to.
really
Yes.
I don't know what
interesting.
this is.
This is Colin
Gambit?
Firth.
Gambit. Yeah, it's Colin Firth.
Yeah.
Colin Firth,
I've never heard of this.
Cameron
Neither have I.
Diaz, Alan Rickman. There was a couple other names in here, but they were.
So what movie did you
What
actually
com-
watch? Because you said you were making up for lost time.
I feel like that was unnecessary. Thank you. Just so you guys know, the RT score is 17%. 17%.
Not the teens.
This is why we love you here.
Holy.
I liked it.
Oh, you fucking...
I didn't love it. It wasn't like a cinematic masterpiece by any means.
Gambit, eh?
Yeah. Apparently the remake was starring Michael Caine. I wish I'd rewatched. Or the original was starring Michael Caine. I kind of want to see that one.
Another
Gambit,
classic
yes.
remake of a Michael Caine movie that's just not quite as good.
Mm.
So this isn't the Fox Marvel Channing Tatum.
Is that what you thought it was?
No.
Be
You
honest.
thought it was Channing
It was
Tatum
on
Gambit?
Netflix. It was late. I was like, is this it?
Surprise drop on Netflix out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm in.
It's not. Just so you know, Channing Tatum was nowhere to be seen.
Perfect.
Not even a cameo by Taylor Kitsch. Nothing.
Straight to
So
So what about this movie did you like? What's...
as soon as I started the movie, it had a very like Pink Panther, like original Pink Panther kind of feel to it, like very Peter Sellers kind of the
Ooh.
classic tone to it. Had an animated opening, which was kind of cool. Yeah, it was really bizarre. But I was like, as soon as this came out, I was like, okay, I'm instantly captivated by this.
Makes
I
sense
love
for you.
Yeah, I was like, little cartoons and colors, the colors.
Yeah. Looks like a child.
Oh, Tim, the colors. And so as it went on, like it quickly, it's a heist. It's a heist movie, which I do really enjoy. And in the first 5 minutes,
This week?
What's that?
Makes sense this week.
Logan Lucky.
Nice. This is for you.
Good time.
So right away, like at the beginning, like what's the plan? This guy tells the plan, and you automatically, if for some reason, you think that it's just fast forwarding to the movie, but it only goes like 5 minutes in, and it comes back and like that's the plan, and it's just so cool because it actually like traces everything that you think is going to happen. It's like believable. It's like, is this actually happening? Did they just like do the entire movie in like 5 minutes? And then
Like a Guy Ritchie type thing.
kinda, yeah, and in a sense, but like a little more comical. And it
Yeah.
was just like it was funny. It's like wow,
Like
this is
Ant-Man when Michael Pena's
kind of like
When
that.
this is gonna happen, then we're gonna do this, and it's like showing it.
And then he goes back and he goes like, "That's the plan." Or like whenever they play out something in like the oh yeah, I guess like in the Shaun of the
Yeah,
Dead movies.
exactly like Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Like
all
Ant-Man.
adding up now. I can
So
see why you like it.
so that happened. It's just like, and that's the plan. Then like nothing goes to plan. Like it's totally everything is just.
Wouldn't
fucked
you
after
know
that.
it?
It was just.
So
it was really
kooky.
good. But I gotta say, the person who stole the show for me,
Colin Firth.
Alan Rickman.
Arlen
Like
Rickman.
his character was like nothing. He was just vulgar, obscene, like
Really?
just
Snape.
an asshole. No, but like nothing. Like he's like you fuck. He's just like yelling at Colin
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, but less German. Yeah. So
Sheriff from Nottingham.
again, less German. But yeah, it was pretty good. No, so he's just like I had never seen like Alan Rickman like play this. He was just like just an asshole. Like just a
Really?
complete like money snob asshole. And it was just
I want to see that.
really good.
Not badly enough to watch the
Critics-
movie, but
critics
I,
disagree.
Critics
though.
disagreed.
what they
He's
disagreed.
also a part-time nudist, which is actually very funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it was
hilarious.
totally
so
unnecessary.
who directed it if the Coen Brothers?
It was someone
Is it
that
like a-
hadn't done very much. Like he directed a Midsummer Night's Dream. Michael Hoffman,
Okay.
yeah,
Never
but
heard
he
of
had done very little, and I was actually very surprised by this. And the music I thought was really good, but
We
then
got a jobber.
he had done the music I did. He did very little. I was very surprised by it, but it was. I enjoyed
Fun?
it.
What'd you say?
It was fun. Like
It was a fun romp.
It was a fun, Scott. It was an enjoyable, fun romp, and I'm going to give it a heavy 3.
Heavy 3, you said.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Nothing goes the way you expect it to, and it was.
So
Oh
basically, I should YouTube clips of Richard. Oh my
Alan-
god. Alan Rickman.
Richard Harris?
Richard Harris.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know who it was say there.
Richard
I'm
Linklater?
back.
Get in. Probably, yeah, I think it's supposed to
Adam,
Richard Jenkins. What?
what do you got for us this week, bud?
Okay.
Well, I also watched a 2012 movie.
Did you?
Gambit.
Was it Michael Hoffman's Gambit?
Yep, thought it was the Supergirl. No.
Me too.
The story of a tourist family in Thailand caught in the destruction and chaotic aftermath of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami.
Is no
Is this the Owen
escape.
Wilson
Owen Wilson.
Yep.
No,
No.
it's
Ah.
just the Ewan McGregor.
What is it?
The
Oh,
Impossible.
there's two of them.
Impossible.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
What? That's what No Escape was about?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess it's similar.
I think it's a little later too. I think it came out
Ugh.
last year or before.
It's similar.
I've been meaning to watch this. It's been on Netflix for weeks now.
Me too. I've had it for a long
Heard
time.
great things about it.
So directed by J.A. Bayona, who did
Master Coles.
Thank you.
Mm.
I was blanking on it. And he's doing Jurassic World 2 or Jurassic World sequel. Starring Naomi Watts, Ian McGregor, Tom Holland, a very young Tom Holland, hilarious.
A young
He's like
baby.
9.
Yeah.
Totally different looking, different voice, hilarious. And that's about it. Those are the 3 main leads of the movie. This movie's this movie's good. Not very good.
heard it's emotional.
It's very emotional. Sometimes a little too on the nose with like the single tear close-ups with like orchestral
Preachy.
sad music, you know.
A little preachy.
Little bit, but yes, the performances are good. Ian McGregor's good. Naomi Watts nominated for Best Actress for this. She's quite good.
Nice.
The biggest scene in the movie, and the reason I would recommend seeing it, the recreation of the tsunami, mind blowing.
Really?
Mind blowing.
Really?
Practical.
What?
Obviously, there is a little bit of CG when they show like the
A long
long
shot?
shot of the wave coming in from the ocean, but they shot this. So they shot this at the hotel or the resort where the tsunami hit, and all the extras in the scene were the survivors of the tsunami.
What?
It was like full accurate, like full practical.
People wanted to recreate that.
Crazy, right?
I had
People
this.
that survived it.
I had the most
Insane.
terrifying moment of my life. Can I sit like front and center to see it happen again?
Yeah, right? And imagine directing them. So yeah, like act like the wave's coming. And they're like, we got it handled. Like we know what to
There'll
do.
be no acting.
So they could only shoot it once. Had to do just one take because it was their entire budget. Basically, it was like 90% of their budget.
So they had to do a lot of rehearsal, obviously.
Of course, right? They just had like
Just days and days.
hundreds
and
of
days.
gallons of water just blast this massive set, like replica they built of this hotel. Like,
They have like 20 cameras.
Yeah.
And
so they shot like the right before stuff at the real hotel with the actual extras, and then they recreated it. They built like a replica set, and palm trees, everything, and just completely obliterated it.
Where did the disaster take place in the timeline of the movie? Was it right at the beginning, or and everything was dealing with the
Well, you gotta
aftermath
set it
afterwards,
up,
or was
and then they got to
there,
deal with the after.
was there a build up to it? Was it like somewhere in the middle?
Yeah,
First in the middle.
it not quite the middle.
Okay.
It was closer to the beginning, like first act,
Okay.
like maybe like 20 minutes in. I'd
Okay.
say. It actually hits you in a cool way because it's just pretty much out of nowhere. It's just like hanging out with the family, like having fun. You kind of forget like what this movie's
This
about,
is a fun movie.
and then you just hear it.
They lull you.
Yeah, you just hear like that, like I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking coming. And then yeah, I expected like CG, just CG fest. No, it blew me away. And like they had the real actors, Naomi Watts, Tom Holland, just floating around in this giant pool of water on debris, like passing different, like it was just incredible. It was basically just a giant practical stunt. And that's
So
like,
for that alone.
for that alone, you have to see it. And they break up the like downtime and the emotional stuff throughout the movie with like flashbacks to it and kind of different angles that you didn't see the first time, because certain characters will get like knocked out and like black out, and they kind of like fill in, like while that person was blacked out, they show another person's point of view.
Smart, because that's like 90% of your budget. So you're like, we got to use this footage more than just
Right?
once.
It might have been 100%. I don't know what the budget was. I didn't look it up, but I was reading that like they had one take. The studio was like, "No, you're building a massive set and destroying it with water once." And they had the family from the movie on set for the entire shoot, who was like just directing them, like, yep, this conversation happened this way, you know, this happened that way. We grabbed onto a car door and like floated on it. It was a blue door, blah blah blah, right? Like, just apparently like right down to
The nitty gritty.
Was it based on a memoir or something that one of them wrote or something?
the producer of the movie heard the family on a radio show, just like talking about their experience, and he literally called in and was like, I'm gonna make a movie about this. Like, you have to come with me and pitch it, and we'll pitch your story, right?
Wow, that's
So, yeah.
crazy.
Insane. I would give it probably also a heavy 3, much like yourself. It was just very solid. It was mostly, again, for the recreation scene. It's pretty amazing. The
But besides
was,
that, it was
the
just a little
rest was-
melodramatic? Or
yeah,
a
that's the
little-
word I'm looking for. Melodrama.
If you had to compare it to, say, 2017's Geostorm, how would you compare it?
Well, I'm gonna
We haven't seen
assume,
Geostorm.
Yeah,
just
I've
based
seen
on
it.
just based on the trailer.
nor will I.
Okay.
A lot of CG,
Yeah.
so that would be shit.
Okay.
This would be 3.5 stars higher. Than that,
Okay.
I'd
Good
say.
to know. Okay. Good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Old.
yeah,
All right, so heavy 3.
yeah. Heavy 3, solid flick.
The
Solid
Impossible.
flick. Check it out for the scene.
Why don't we jump in?
Oh shit!
I didn't watch a movie this week. I watched 3.
You're
Are
sick.
you mad?
Are you mad? I watched, it's on Criterion, obviously.
God damn it!
The Samurai Trilogy,
Obviously, he says.
which is starring Toshiro Mifune.
Mm. Household name.
Directed by Hiroshi Inagaki. It was from 1954 to 56 was when these 3 movies came out, like 1 year after another.
So it's like Lord of the Rings, but for
yeah,
Japan.
these movies were like they were big like tentpole.
That's it.
Big tentpole movies at the time for Toho. And I wrote down the same year Toho, the production company, Seven Samurai and Godzilla came out in this year, and the first movie of this
Holy shit!
all came out in the same
It's a
year.
big year for that
Yeah.
company.
A massive ball.
But the names of the movies, Musashi Miyamoto and Duel at Ichijoji Temple and Duel at Genryo Island. These 3 movies. Basically, Musashi is the main character that Mifune plays. He's like this legendary swordsman character in Japanese history
Mm-hmm.
from the 1600s.
Yeah.
And his claim to fame is that he just traveled around his whole life and just dueled people to the death.
Sweet.
That was literally
All right.
and
Pretty
he won.
ruthless.
He won every time, obviously.
Good for him.
It's interesting. It's funny that it's called the Samurai Trilogy because he actually wasn't a samurai. He was just a dueling swordsman. A samurai is like someone who's like
Annoying.
Is there talk of like where he wants to be a samurai or like idolizes samurais, or is the title just kind of
I guess his profession, which is a traveling swordsman who like duelist basically,
Yeah.
was a way for people to prove that they were good swordsmen, and then they would have maybe a local warlord or person pick them up and bring them into their sort of clan, and it was like their like audition. But Musashi's, what he wanted to do in his life was just to prove that he was like the best, basically, and just be the best swordsman he could. And it was interesting. He wrote several novels, which you can now read.
Really?
And
Oh, it's a true story.
yeah,
Wow.
he's a
Oh,
real.
I didn't know that.
That's what I was gonna say.
He's a real
This is
person.
like a real guy.
Oh.
Musashi.
Okay.
It's kind of like I was listening to the interviews that they did for this movie, and just sort of talking about the real life Musashi and how there isn't really comparison for like Western culture, because there isn't like a one person who sort of epitomized the ultimate like swordsman person. Like, you got to think of like someone like Pele or something. That's what I thought of, or like Gretzky, or like, you know what I mean?
I was
like,
actually gonna say Mike Tyson, like jokingly, but I guess it's
like
kind of
the greatest of
yeah.
all time, that
Yeah.
legend of that sort of culture, right? And he was an artist too. He like carved and like painted, and you can see his art and everything.
Is it good?
Crazy. Yeah, it's pretty good.
For a guy who just kills people for
Just
for
massacred
sport?
60 people.
Pure
I
blood.
think the record was 60 duels that he won,
That's insane.
and the second most
Fuck.
in history in Japan at least was like 30.
He doubled
He
the closest
doubled.
guy.
Yeah.
He's just his number.
Well, think about it. Think about dueling 30 people
Yeah, even
to
that's
the death
insane.
and winning.
I'm
Yeah.
doing one person to the death.
Even that's a 50-50
He won
shot.
60 duels, and he died of old age of like cancer or something.
Fuck.
Guy kills 60 people.
If I do
dies
it,
of
I'll, like,
cancer.
pull my sword out, hit my own wrist by accident, and be like, "Ah!" and
Yeah,
die.
yeah.
That's how I duel.
I die of fear.
Just crazy.
Cancer.
Like,
But the movies themselves, there's 3 movies. They're all like an hour 45, give or take.
okay.
Okay.
Good length.
Mid 50s, a lot of movies at this time I feel like it was sort of in between black and white and color.
Mhm.
These movies are full color.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and maybe they were
I'm
done in
listening.
post or something, but I will say they look great. Visually, there's a lot of color going on.
Oh,
Colors.
huge fan of the colors.
But when I said earlier that they're like tentpole movies, like as a result, there's a lot of like side plots and like there's like a love triangle like across these 3 movies, which wasn't necessarily historically accurate. It was based on a play. These books were based on a play that someone wrote and sort of fictionalized an account of his life and added, like a love interest and like a competing
got
love
to.
interest.
Gotta
and-
have that.
In real life, I think after reading about him, he was just like he didn't have any love interest. He was just all about his craft. So it's interesting, but it adds a little bit more of a sort of human, touch to it. And instead of just having him just be like,
Didn't exist, but
yeah, or instead of him just being purely devoted to just murdering people,
Death.
there's a little bit more at stake for him, that he has people that care about him.
Yeah.
But I do think Toshiro Mifune, I think he's perfect person to play like a legendary swordsman. This is before like Yojimbo.
I was just saying, have
Before-
I seen this person?
Yes.
Like, what is he done?
Mifune, Yojimbo. He plays.
He was in Seven
Okay.
Samurai. He's
How
like the guy who's not a samurai.
the
in Seven
crazy-
Samurai.
I was gonna
With the
say
long
that
sword.
he was the
crazy guy.
the outcast.
Love him.
Yeah.
So it came out the same year as Seven Samurai. So this is right sort of at the beginning. I think
I've seen that
all
one.
he's done with Kurosawa at this point was a few of the earlier movies. I think like Drunken Angel and like
Wow.
Stray Dog, like those movies, those like more like contemporary. He hadn't done any like samurai movies, and this sort of started him on that path towards doing a lot of samurai movies.
Love Yojimbo.
But they all kind of in each movie there's sort of like a duel that he's doing. It's sort of leading up to like a big duel, and those parts are great. I really like the last movie. I think is the best of the 3. Because it's kind of like they're closing off the trilogy. They went all out for like the cinematography, and especially the final duel is on this island, and they're like dueling on the beach, and Musashi's like in the water, basically, and like kind of, and the wake's like coming in and out, and then the other guy, Sasaki, is like fighting him. But it's interesting. The interesting thing about Musashi as well is that he didn't necessarily fight with like a sword. He would fight with like a wooden practice sword and still murder people with it. That's how much of a savage. Yeah.
The real guy.
The real guy.
He would just bludgeon them to
He
death.
was literally just
Like,
beat them
beat
to
on
death
them.
with a wooden sword.
That's arguably worse than like.
No, that's not arguably.
Yeah,
that's
right?
worse.
I think my favorite thing about the last one, which is apparently true, was on the way, because he had someone row him to the island where the duel was going to take place.
Nice.
And on the way there, he carved a sword out of the ore and used that.
I was gonna say
in
he
the
killed the
duel.
guy who gave him the ride.
Did he kill them?
And he basically left it kind of like mostly as like an ore shape. Basically, he like carved it down.
Flat.
So he literally dueled, and you can see if you look up the movie Duel at Ganryo Island, you'll probably see that in the poster. It's like him and Sasaki, and he's like holding an oar, and he's like fighting him. Sasaki's like this famous swordsman as well, and he's sort of like they're the only sort of people that are on somewhat the same level, and their final duel, because he's in Sasaki, this other character is sort of in the other movies as well, and they're sort of like have a mutual kind of respect, but then they want to prove them, or Sasaki wants to prove that he can be the best swordsman, so he challenges Musashi to a duel. But he obviously has this famous super long sword, and it's just funny that he's fighting Musashi with a giant sword, and he just has an oar, and they're just like fighting.
I have a question for you. I'm trying to understand the logic of using an oar as a weapon. Were they in the boat on the way there, and he's like, oh, shit,
The other
I
guys-
forgot my sword.
No, he would totally planned on just not using a sword.
And so he's like, give me that oar. I'm going to make a sword right now.
He
'cause
just
I
has the
forgot my
money as a
hotel."
knife. He's just like carving the
Why not
oar
use the
down.
knife?
Yeah.
At least.
Nah.
Just tape the knife to the end of the oar or something. I don't like.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that was his thing.
Invent the
right?
spear.
I think the most famous thing about Musashi as well was that he had this dual sword technique where he used two swords at the
Sick.
same time.
Sick.
Damn.
Which he sort of,
Did he grab the other oar and try to?
which obviously comes up in these movies that he has to like use two swords because he's like fighting a whole bunch of people at the same time, you know, that kind of thing, right?
As you do.
You're selling me, man.
But as far as like his character journey, it's more so from in the beginning. He's more of kind of unruly and kind of like more wild, I guess you could say. And then he sort of comes to this like Zen state of, and he realizes how to like become a better person and a better swordsman. There's some characters along the way that sort of, you know, show him that what he's doing is wrong and that he needs to, you know, do such and such a thing to, you know, mentally be better and be a better person and all that stuff. So that's more of his journey of going from like a wild, like unruly sorts, crazy person,
Killer.
to kind of becoming more stoic and like honorable and
Less murder.
a good person.
Boat instruments.
And then later in his life, he sort of puts more time into like farming and like carving and painting and writing and stuff like that to become a like fuller person.
So it's like the Bob Ross story.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Pretty
totally,
much,
totally, yeah. Yep,
Sick.
it is.
Interesting.
It is.
Okay.
Minus the, you know, the
Jufro.
yeah,
Love it.
Okay.
just happy accidents.
Yeah.
Happy accidents.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
now he
Um,
paints.
look at that.
Yeah, it's the one. It's just the thing for me that kind of isn't as good as all the side plots and like the melodrama of like the love stories. It could have been more cut down and focused more on him. So I'm gonna hit it with. I'm gonna go with a heavy 3 as well.
Overall?
For all three.
Yeah. Well,
For each
I'd
one?
say it's hard. I'm gonna. You know what? I'll say heavy 3 for the first two, and light 4 for the last one.
Okay.
Light 4 for the oar.
Yeah.
Four for that order.
4 for the oars.
Light 4
let's
for
go.
that oar.
Yeah.
It was just a little bit more. The stakes were a little bit higher, a little bit more intense, a little bit more drama, and it looked a little bit better as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
check it out, the Samurai Trilogy on Criterion. Moving on, got some trailers to discuss. Starting off with Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut, starring Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba, Michael Cera.
Yes.
Playing maybe himself?
Maybe,
I think
right?
he's playing himself.
I think he is. I was going to ask that.
Molly's Game. Ty,
Yes.
what do you think of Molly's Game? It was a long trailer.
It was, yes.
See,
2.5 minute trailer.
it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a long trailer, but it was long enough. Like they showed so much that I didn't feel like I actually. You know, you see a 2-minute, 2.5 minute, 3-minute trailer, and you think like, "Wow, I've seen the movie. Why the fuck am I going to see it now?" I didn't get that with this. I feel like they showed details throughout the movie that kind of explained what's going to happen, like little important things. But I'm very excited for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really in for this.
Really?
I think it's mostly like the mystery behind Michael Cera. I really
Yeah.
want to know what's going on over there.
Well, that is the big mystery.
Yeah, it's like his hair's grown out a little bit. It seems like he hasn't aged in like 10 years, so that's a big mystery. But I'm really interested to see like what happens with Jessica Chastain's character and what's
Molly.
going like
Molly Bloom.
What her game
just
is.
her character. I want to know. Okay,
Does it
Your
work?
last name is Game? Please, Scott.
please,
Continue.
thank you, Scott.
Her name's Molly's.
Skame. Molly's
Yeah.
Skame.
Molly's game.
I prefer a pseudonym, please. Molly's game. Yeah,
So
I'm,
you're in.
I'm definitely in this.
You're hype.
Yeah, like
You big Sorkin fan?
sure.
He writes good words.
Does he?
Yeah.
Adam. Are you a Sorkin fan? Are you
Massive. Love him. Love the man.
Huge.
Walk and talk. He can do it like no one else. You know? Walk down a hallway. Sorkin. Write your dialogue. It's going to be the best scene in any movie. I don't care what you say.
Aaron Sorkin is teaching a master class now. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this.
No.
You got that Facebook?
I did get that Facebook ad.
Sweet.
Yeah, he teaches writing.
Is it full? Can I?
You
Can
can
sign up
join.
for a fee. I think it's $90. You can
I'm
learn
out.
how to write like
very
Aaron Sorkin.
cheap.
I'm out.
I'm following Steve Martin's comedy right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't care. Yeah, I love Sorkin. Looks good. I think I'm in. Could be generic. Looks a little... I don't know how to describe it. It just looks a little generic, like a little substance over style, maybe.
I'm
You know?
hinting. I'm getting like a twist at the end. Like something's gonna happen. Like towards.
I hope
this,
so.
Like there's gonna be like a big turn at the end there.
And Sorkin's directorial debut, like that alone is a pretty good hook to get me to want to see it. I just want to see what he can do directing some movie, right?
For me, it's got that Social Network vibe.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Which
Yeah?
is just, which is fine. But did he write that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that sort of makes sense.
Amazingly written movie.
Just in their characters as well, like Jesse Eisenberg and Jessica Chastain, just
Yeah.
they seem like
know-it-all assholes.
Yeah, similar. And then
Polarizing.
there's like legal trouble that they get into. It sort of relates a little bit.
Sure.
Is this a true story?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. For me, I'm intrigued. Like you guys are saying, it's just the fact that it's Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut. That in its own right is sort of interesting enough of a hook.
Mhm.
But I think everyone looks good in it. Good to see Idris Elba. I mean, Michael Cera doesn't. I don't think he has a huge part in it.
I don't know.
Also,
he came up quite a few times.
Kevin
in the trailer.
Costner is in it as well. He's probably not in it very much,
Mm.
but there isn't many people else.
No, it's the biggest people, I think.
I'm just curious to see. I imagine there will be because it's Aaron Sorkin. It's hard to judge the trailers for these types of movies, where a lot of it's based on the dialogue and the wit of that.
Yeah.
Which
Right?
in a trailer you don't really get that.
No.
But I'm intrigued. I'm in. I'll definitely see it. Tim, your thoughts?
Good.
No, I agree. I'm intrigued.
He's your boy. You love Sorkin.
I love me some Sorkin. Moneyball, Social Network,
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Screenplay is great. Movie's fine.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by it. I think I agree with Adam.
Saddam.
Scadam.
Scadam.
I think the
Adam's
directional side looks a little generic, but that might be what this movie needs. It seems like it's very character and dialogue heavy, like most of his writing is.
Mm-hmm.
So it might fit.
Hopefully it's not Miss Sloan.
Yeah.
It's an obscure reference. You guys remember that movie from last year?
Yes.
Yikes.
The posters are very similar.
I heard it was okay.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I just heard nothing about it. I assumed the worst.
Moving on. Movie which is coming out at TIFF this year, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, that kid that hits his head in Dunkirk.
Finn something?
No, not Finn Whitehead.
That's not Ezra Miller?
That's Finn Whitehead, right?
No, he's the soldier.
Oh, yes. The other kid.
George.
George.
Baby
Georgie.
Georgie.
Killing of a Sacred Deer. Is this his second English language film?
Mm-hmm.
The Lobster. Tim, what do you think of this trailer? What do you think of that song, first of all? How cringe was that song?
The song is cringe. Plays at our work a lot, and I hate it.
Makes two of us, yeah.
But song...
Is it unsettling?
Yes, it's unsettling. Her voice and her singing that particular song, which is like...
Very upbeat.
This very upbeat, like, teen pop song, against, like, just Colin Farrell up to some nefarious stuff with his patients, I think.
Disturbing imagery.
Nicole Kidman not being happy with him again this year in a movie.
Really?
Just, like, weird imagery of, like, a girl, like, dragging herself down across, like, a hallway and up a set of stairs and down a set of stairs.
Some paralysis is going to happen for sure.
I don't know what to think about. I mean, the lobster is just so bizarre. That's all I got.
It's had a very haunting feeling to me.
His beard's great,
Great beard.
It has a great beard.
very
Great.
Good hair.
and he's Irish in it, which means he'll do a good performance.
Yeah. Huge fan of that.
For me, this trailer's weird. I thought the song was a little bit too cringe. I kind of wrote, I'm just gonna like clench, like make it stop. But it's, to put you on edge.
I was on it.
Obviously. So that worked. As far as the movie, I think it's gonna be great.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
I love the
You're
lobster.
doing great out there.
I think it's gonna be great.
Okay.
I love the lobster. It's kind of that dark. I feel like I laugh. I'm not supposed to laugh.
We
at
know.
certain
We know you
things.
do.
You laughed.
You're an
Like
animal.
the scene where Colin Farrell's like helping someone who's like obviously paralyzed, like legs are paralyzed, and just drops him on the ground. I don't know.
It's
am
hilarious,
I going
Scott.
to hell? Because
No, that's probably meant to be a little
chuckled.
funny.
I
It's that
chuckled.
like cringe, like this is absurd, right? Like that, like he's just like flopping them. He's like, just like one. Like how many times did he do it? How many people flop?
3 times?
A couple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Savage.
I just love his style of comedy. It's just so cringy and like weird,
Yeah.
but
But,
it's,
by
but it's
design.
great. But it's great as a result.
It's a serious romance, not comedy. What the hell are you laughing at? You sick bastard.
So I'm in. Ty, what are your thoughts?
This I found scary. Reminded me quite a bit of Beguiled for some reason. Just like this looming sort of dark blanket over top of the entire trailer.
Was it the stars?
Maybe.
Cole Kidman.
And maybe
probably.
it might have had some. Is this the
Elle
sequel?
Fanning's not in it, but
Elle Fanning. Oh, is this the sequel to
Yes.
Beguiled? Yes. It seemed like very dark and menacing. Like shit is going down, and you have no idea what it is, but it's going to be bad. For that, I'm scared. I'm tentatively in.
Tentative.
another
Yeah.
thing for me is just the movie title. I think is great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just love that title.
I've
'Cause
been excited just off the title for like months.
The Killing of a Sacred
that
Deer. I mean, you don't really understand where that comes from the trailer. A lot of movies make sense, like Molly's Game. It's
Yeah.
very straightforward, right?
Yeah, broad.
This has, I don't know, it just adds this air of mystery to it, for sure. What are your thoughts?
Well, Yorgos, the man who fucked me up with the lobster. I look forward to seeing how he's gonna
Fuck you up
Re-fuck
again?
you
fuck
up.
me this time.
Yeah.
Yorgos. I've only seen The Lobster. I haven't seen his other movies. So have you guys?
Just the lobster.
I've seen Dogtooth and Alps. as well.
Okay. Well, I heard Dogtooth is
Fuck.
yeah, I'm
Alps
excited.
is fucked.
Looks visually really good. I love Colin Farrell when he's using his natural accent, like Tim said. He's rarely bad when he does that. Yeah, I'm in. I'm super intrigued.
I've been liking Colin Farrell a lot more lately. I think he went
Yeah,
through this
me too.
period of the mid to late sort of 2000s.
Where he's trying to be an action star.
Yeah, and
You
it
guys
just
didn't like
wasn't.
Phone Booth?
He's actually pretty good in film.
Yeah, I thought it was really good in Phone Booth.
It's not really good. He's pretty good.
No, I thought he was really good. It's
Shot
hard to act in a
in
box
Toronto.
for
Like-
an hour and a half.
He did.
That can knock his out of a box.
What was it? Not Troy.
Yeah.
but the movie where he did the
Oh,
Sort of sense.
Alexander.
Alexander.
like Alexander and
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice.
He was trying to be like the man. You know, it was too
What
like.
was
Total Recall.
Spielberg?
Oh, Total Recall.
Well, Total Recall, but also
Jesus, Minority
he
Report.
did Minority Report. Like those movies where he's always doing an American accent and just trying to break out. But
Yeah.
lately he's been doing a lot of more like indie stuff, and I think he's doing a lot
More
better.
vulnerable roles too,
For sure.
like the lobster,
Yeah.
that barrel,
Great.
amazing. I'm hype.
Moving on, we got the Meyerowitz stories. I think I pronounced that right.
Love it.
Yes, you did.
Starring Adam Sandler, Dustin Hoffman,
Yeah.
Emma Thompson,
Ben Stiller.
and Ben Stiller.
There you go.
Yes.
All
Directed
all
by
great Jews.
Noah
Every one of
Baumbach.
them.
No bumba.
He directed
Love
and
him.
written and wrote this as well. Ty,
Mm.
Let's start with you.
Start with you.
It's the story of a Jewish family.
Story of a Jewish family.
Can you relate?
Yes.
How about that song?
I was
Byron.
intrigued by that song. You heard someone say, Myron. I thought it was great. Really just a weird, kooky energy throughout this trailer. Like, you're not really sure what the story is with this family.
Yep.
But, like, honestly, I like Adam Sandler. I like when he does it. When he does a good role, I think he's a good actor. Like,
I agree with you.
I think that he is shot down a lot, but this looks like it's going to be something funny. Ben Stiller, I don't think I've ever not liked him in a role. I think he's always done well in my eyes. He's never done
some shit.
He's never done anything bad to me. Like, I've never
He
seen him
gets
like.
the pass for Tropic Thunder.
I've
I've never been disappointed by one of his performances.
Was he in? I'm blanking on a lot of
Zoolander
things
2?
today.
I don't know.
I noticed.
Okay, Zoolander 2 was
I haven't
that
seen it.
movie was just a shit show to begin with.
Yeah.
Played a nurse in an Adam Sandler comedy.
Oh, Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Atrocious in that.
I thought that was funny.
Oh, it's great, funny movie, but him.
Yeah.
Is he bad?
Ben
I don't
Stiller.
know.
I didn't mind him.
Oh,
He's
Bad.
just like picking on the old lady. Like, it was just.
Oh yeah,
so
is that where
funny.
he tortures the old
Yeah.
lady? Yeah, he's funny in that.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
All right. Well,
Like, abuse of the elderly aside, I thought that it was funny.
yeah, we're learning a lot here today.
that's like your opinion, man.
Anyway,
Meyerowitz
you like
stories.
the stars?
Yeah, I
Like the trailer?
yeah, I like the
Dustin
trailer.
Hoffman.
Dustin
looking
Hoffman.
Like Santa.
Looks like he's wise.
It's looking great.
Yeah, I think he
Looks like a
rocks a
Hoffman.
beard. It looks great. Emma Thompson, didn't see her a whole lot. I think I saw 1 or 2 shots of her, but she looked
She chimed in.
weird.
She looks like a lot like Professor Trelawney.
Yes, a lot.
Yes.
Throw on some Harry Potter, Trelawney.
Mm.
The divination.
Oh
teacher.
yeah, yeah.
Throw on some weird
Tea
Coke
leaves.
bottle glasses, and you got Trelawney.
She had big glasses on.
Did she?
Yeah.
Trelawney. Yeah, no, I'm in. I'm definitely in. Yeah, I'm very excited for this.
Sweet.
Adam, what are your thoughts?
I think it looks good. I'm pretty excited. They didn't obviously. It was a teaser, I think, right?
Didn't show much.
No.
They didn't show much at all.
I love that it's a Netflix original. You know, it'll just pop up. You can watch
This is
it
number
right at home.
5 of Adam Sandler's 5 deals he has to do with them.
And
Like
I
that.
love that. Get
That'd
that
be
over
amazing.
with.
Is this part of
I don't
his
think that's part of
buy
that deal.
No?
No.
That'd be insane if he did those other ones and then his 4th or 5th one was like a Noah Baumbach movie.
Yeah, it would be.
Insane.
I don't.
Like an
I
award
think. I
season
think it's
movie.
it's a deal where he like produces and like creates these like comedies for Netflix. I don't think it's this.
Well,
But-
yeah, I heard it played at one of the festivals and got amazing reviews.
Cons, I believe.
Was it yeah,
I think so.
I thought yeah,
Sundance.
one of the two.
Ooh.
They're talking Adam Sandler,
Oscar.
the big O,
Oh.
Oscar buzz.
Oscar buzz.
The unthinkable has happened. No, I think Adam Sandler's super talented, and that's why I shit on him so hard for these garbage movies. Because
He
it's
has
like
to-
watching someone you know could be good if they wanted to, but he's so lazy. Like, I love him in Punch Drunk Love. He's great in Reign Over Me. Like, he has acted before I've seen it, right?
The ratio's not great.
No, it's atrocious. That's why I hate it.
Sorry, just do you guys know Vulture.com? You guys know that?
Yes.
No.
No. Well, apparently
Okay.
they have re-upped. Adam Sandler has re-signed, and now it's actually an 8-movie deal.
With Netflix?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I just died a little bit. Are they in debt?
Expands
Cut 'em
Netflix
loose.
deal with 4 new movies.
Oh shit.
I hope they're the Meyerowitz stories, part 1 through fucking 8. Please God.
But you're in.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
like Noah Baumbach too. He's good.
I like Francis Ha.
Mhm.
I like Mistress America. I think those are the 2 Noah Baumbach movies I've seen. And it has that same kind of vibe, like New York.
Is
It's
it like
real
a Woody
people.
Allen-y?
I was gonna say that next. Yeah, it's got that Woody Allen vibe as well, which I like, and you can tell it's gonna be sort of emotional, like a family story of. I don't know what the story is, but looks like there's probably gonna be some tensions, and
Yeah.
I think everyone looks great, and I'm looking forward to it. Tim?
Have you guys not seen The Squid and the Whale?
No.
Oh,
Who's in it?
Jeff Bridges? No, not Jeff Bridges. The other one.
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, yes.
And
thank
Jesse
you.
Eisenberg, or no?
Yeah.
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 It's good. Is that Noah
amazing.
Baumbach?
Yeah, it's Noah Baumbach. Yeah.
What the fuck?
That movie's amazing.
He's
He's really good at like family tension. Like
Yeah.
he writes families like really well and really real.
I didn't know that.
Have Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler been in movies together before?
Well, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, but like I meant like a substantial amount. Where like
No.
I want to say no.
okay, because they're an interesting pairing.
I could see
Because they
them
can both do serious roles well when they
When they want
Try.
to.
want
Yeah.
to. So I'm very intrigued by how this movie is going to turn out.
Yeah.
Looks based off just the teaser, it looks great. Like I agree, it has this weird kooky energy to
Yeah.
it that I think is going to like. I don't know. I think it's just going to flow well. I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling.
It seems like the three male leads, like they just have chemistry.
yeah.
Well, they've done
Very obvious chemistry.
Yeah.
Well, you have
Got
Ben
Dustin
Stiller and
Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman who have been a couple movies together who have really good chemistry on screen.
And Adam Sandler, Dustin Hoffman, coming off the
Meet the
cobbler.
parents.
Meet the Parents. Yeah.
Meet the parents.
Yeah.
Get hype.
Oh, yes, right.
Well, moving on, we got one last trailer to discuss. The Florida Project, directed by
Sean Baker.
Sean Baker, who directed, was it 2015?
I think so.
2015 Tangerine, which is that iPhone movie that was shot all handheld on iPhone. Great movie. Check it out. But this movie is starring Willem Dafoe and some unknowns, who I don't know their names.
Children.
And yeah, it's sort of coming of age, I guess, of this little girl, and her mother's not well off. Maybe she has some drug problems or something. They're living in this project in Florida, apparently outside Disney World or something.
Crazy.
But yeah, I'm gonna start off. I think it looks good. Seems like heartfelt drama, and just based on Tangerine, and he's moving on from that. It visually looks. It's got that similar. There's lots of pops of color, which I like.
Looks like he has more than just an iPhone this time.
Yes, maybe he has an actual camera.
Bought a camera.
I think Willem Dafoe looks great. Apparently, there's all this buzz for this movie over his performance as well.
Really?
People are saying Oscar buzz, just like Adam
He
Sandler.
does look like he's playing a very different role than usual. He's not a demon or anything like that.
Or
He's not wearing
Goblin.
eyeliner.
He's not a goblin.
It's not like
He's not a
ghoul.
weird like sex pest like he was in
Sex
Wild at
pest.
Heart.
Well, okay.
He's not just walking around punching people like Grand Budapest. And
Yeah.
just,
She's basically not a villain for the first time.
yeah.
I think it looks great. I'm in. Sign me up.
I'm in. Thought I had seen Tangerine. I had it mixed up with two other movies, which I won't explain to you why.
Say.
I won't. One of them was shot with mostly
Moonlight?
drones, and the other one is called Tangerines. And I was like, have I seen it?
Didn't you watch the movie Tangerines, the foreign movie?
Yeah. I was like, I know it's not that one, but I was like, is it the drone movie that I saw then? But it's not that one either. That one's a different movie. I'm pretty sure I have to look it up.
Eye in the sky.
I don't think I've seen Tangerine. Heard great things. Willem Dafoe looks really good in it. And
think?
it looks shot really well, I thought. It was
Visually
really
great.
visually looks awesome. And the
A lot
kids
of
look,
magic hour shots.
the kids look pretty good. I'm intrigued. I'm interested.
Adam?
I think it looks good. I love Willem Dafoe, as we know. So, give me a Willem Dafoe character study, just like performance vehicle. If he's in it, like most 90% of the movie.
Funny enough, he's teaching a master class.
Really?
No.
Oh, I love him so much. Yeah, I thought Tangerine was good, especially for what he had to work with. iPhone.
Yeah.
If you hadn't heard.
I think it was a fun little romp.
Yeah, exactly,
hood.
right? It was like a fun romp. That's a good way to put it.
Not too serious.
I'm excited to see, what he can do with resources. And I thought the movie kept the look of Tangerine.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
looks a lot like it, yeah.
like it has a street level, like docu style. Like it just felt
Handheld,
very
that handheld style.
handheld. Yeah.
Hence why I was confused. What movie Spring, which is the one I was thinking of. I thought Sean Baker did that one for some reason. It's not.
Shit, this guy.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm in. It looks good.
Tyler.
I
Here we go.
am thrown off by Willem Dafoe. I'm looking at him, and he's not scary. And I think that's what makes him the scariest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'm afraid it's just gonna get scary for no reason.
He's a wolf in sheep's clothing right now.
He
Exactly,
lulls
he's
you
just
into
gonna-
a sense of security.
Peel off his face, and it's the one from Death Note. That's all I'm thinking about right now. He looks great. Looks like he's just acting. Weird.
He often
Just
does.
acting his heart out. Eh?
I'm blown away by the kids though. Like I whenever I see like kids acting, I'm like,
Right,
'cause,
can
like,
be tricky.
yeah.
It
right?
can be, and so but I'm looking at these kids. I'm like, they're like to me, they're like it's believable. Like I wasn't thrown off by that. I
That's
was
a
like,
good point. I agree.
Yeah, kid actors have been on par a lot in the last few years. I've noticed. There's been some really
Yeah.
good performances.
I'm looking at them. I was like, this is the one we're not allowed to go into. But let's go in there, and I was like, wow, this is like that's what a kid would do. Like this seemed very believable.
Yeah.
So I was
Natural.
natural. Thank you. It was just organic.
Natural.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
No, I didn't like that
I'd
one.
say
either.
natural.
Tried to one up you. No, I'm definitely in. I've never seen. I'm assuming he hasn't done many movies? Question mark.
Is Tangerine the only one?
Tangerine. I
That's
think
it?
was the first one.
Okay, so haven't seen any of his movies.
With like no name actors, right? Now he's got Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I think there's one person in Tangerine that I think I recognize from somewhere else.
He did something else after.
Do you know who I'm
I think.
talking about?
Yeah, the
Or-
boyfriend, right?
Yeah, they're
The
like
scummy,
they're like
douchey
Yeah,
boyfriend.
what? You know?
I don't remember, but he was totally different.
Yeah.
He plays like a drug dealer looking guy in Tangerine, and then he was like totally cleaned up in something else, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We'll look it up after.
You should see Tangerine. I think you'd like it.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah.
I'm in.
Like the romp.
I do enjoy a good romp.
Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of the Upper Late Podcast. Tim, where can people find us?
People can find us on Twitter at UpReal8. You can find all of our old audio episodes on iTunes at UpReal8. You can find me personally on Letterboxd at UpRealTim. And you can find me on Instagram, my new account, The Craft Pundit.
Oh
Little
This
plug.
is
You're
Move on.
plugging your,
Little plug.
your secondary Instagram
Ew.
account.
Little plug.
Tyler,
Wow.
10 minutes this out.
move on.
Nope. I mean, The Craft Pundit just at The Craft Pundit across the screen the whole
We
time.
get a banner across the
Some
bottom of the
flashing
screen.
and shit.
You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Upper Late Podcast. You can also find me on Letterboxd at Upper Late Ty. Also, you can follow my private Instagram account if you
Oh,
feel up to it.
okay. That's
Private
cute.
Tyler. A couple.
Yeah, you
Couple
can follow
threes.
me
Racy.
at Franny25 on Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd at UpRealAdam. And that's it.
Find myself, Scott, on Letterboxd at UpRealScott. And yeah, guys, like I said earlier, if you did enjoy this video, leave a like on it. Leave a comment below in the comment section if you want to join our discussion. And, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, keep it real.